I'm going to do a video here on some scrubbing and lifting techniques and when and why and how and etc. So the scrubbing out and removing of paint of watercolor is a very common thing, and there's lots of tools to help do that sort of stuff. Some of the things I'm going to use just right off the bat, the main thing I try to think of is having a going from my softest, the least abrasive solution to the most abrasive. So the least is pretty much this stiff little brush. Sometimes I'll use a bigger brush that's sort of stiff, sort of in the middle. And if that doesn't work, sometimes I like using, this is a Princeton Catalyst. It's their short, it's long handled, but it's short bristled. I think the only way you can get it is short bristled. So we're sort of going down the continuum of least abrasive to more abrasive. Next is this scrubby brush, and there's several different kinds of scrubby brushes. But the thing they have in common is that they're just white, short, often this slightly rounded, but there's different kinds. This kind is what I usually use. And that will just scrub that much better. Sometimes if I want to do a bigger area but still don't want to get too abrasive, I have a bigger one that's similar to this. And more, and I think a pretty impressive solution that I'm just learning about now is to use these Mr. Clean style brushes, sponges, magic sponge or something, I don't know. But it works on palettes, and it seems like it's even working on paper. So I think that's extremely cool. I don't have all the answers on that one yet, but so like I said, first all, oh man, I got that. Okay, I'm going to start with my least abrasive, and there's several things in here that I'm thinking scrub and lift and try to clean up or change or shift. And one of them is these little spazzes, little blurbs, or little times when the brush either didn't quite go where I wanted it to, or I had one of my spazzes or whatever. But I try to, in cleaning these up, I'm just going to use my little relatively for these tools, my synthetic brush. I'm going to wet a little bit like that. Usually I'll wait for 1 second to see what I can coax awake, and then with a hopefully clean paper towel, just blot that up. So this is a, and sometimes even the phthalo colors that are very staining, sometimes you can get it to a place where it's a lot better, and it's probably going to be fine. And I ran away for a moment there to get paper towels, a real clean paper towel. So I may want to come back and do something with that, but that's a great start. And a lot of the stuff is knowing that I can get more intense if I need to, which if you haven't done this, you don't have that experience. So look at that. That was kind of interesting. Seemed like that one pretty much went away. So that was cleaning that little blurb up. And there's all sorts of places like that that I will try. None are really jumping out at me right now, but I'm sure they're out there. But I'm going to sort of move on to another way that I think of the scrubbing and lifting, and this is definitely related. Same kind of thing. I'm starting with my synthetic brush, and oftentimes the edge of something, the edge between two things, gets so that it's just really unclear and confusing. And what I will do is get just some clear water and I will paint this shape with clear water and agitate a little bit of the paint along one side or both sides, either way. So that's getting darker right now, and I use this technique in a couple different ways, but for this one I think I'm just going to blot it up and try to establish that space a little, that shape a little bit more refined. And maybe you sort of already noticed it. Another way I love to use that technique is to create more of a sense of a rounded. Let me show you. And I might get out a little bit bigger brush for this. In fact, I will. This is I'm going to get. This is it's a Robert Simmons Sapphire, and that's not critical, but it's sort of in between. It's actually a little bit softer than just a straight synthetic, but like I say, I try to start with the least abrasive. And what I'm going to do here is just agitate a little bit of color around the edge of this petal, and it has a twofold benefit, and that it's cleaning up that edge. And when I say edge, I'm really thinking about just the petal right now, and it's refining it, and it's giving it even a little bit of outline and a little bit of graded color shift right at the edge, which helps it appear more rounded. And then I wanted to get rid of that. So this is just clean water. And depending how clean that is, I might sort of blot up a little bit. But that's the idea for that. And I even might come back with this smaller. This is the first one I was using. And try to lift up a little bit more, and it's sort of like, I think I did something like that over there, where using the paint that's, oh yeah, that was sort of here, using the paint that's already here. And it's a great little technique. So that's another way I sort of think of the scrubbing and lifting aspect of watercolor painting. Another way is, an example is up here. And for here, what I'm going to do is use something a little bit stiffer. But one way of getting sort of a soft edge, lighter valued object shape is by just painting really dark over the whole area and then erasing out. It's sort of the idea of reductive painting. So I'm just sort of wetting the shape that I want to sort of scrub. Helps to, when you do this, it helps to clean out the paint that's getting in your brush by doing that scrubbing. And this will depending on how much paint and how dark it is and the values, it may sort of end up with a little bit of seeming like it's not just a straight edge, but I might blot some of that up, and that gets me a lot further. And what I would probably do is come back and refine how I wanted to, and I may want that to get even, lighter in value, so I may eventually go to that stiffer brush.